welcome back. This is still Trust TV and you're watching Daybreak Extra. Now, let's move on to our next discussion, and it's quite, a serious one, because if you look at I wouldn't say the world, I would actually say our country today, there's so many things happening when it comes to relationships, so many things happening between, partners and between spouses. So right here in the studio, we have Mr. Jeff Oluwagbemiga, and he's a multidimensional coach with a passion for human capacity development. He's a psychologist and family counselor with years of experience as a public health and management professional. He's passionate about leadership and human capacity development as a tool to life accomplishment at personal, family, community, and national spheres. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Daybreak Extra this morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Jeff.
All right, so welcome to Daybreak.
Yeah, good to be here.
All right. So recently there has been like an increase in the number of reported cases that we hear of domestic violence. People that are supposedly supposed to be living and loving each other, stabbing each other, abusing each other physically and emotionally and all that. And it seems to be on the increase. What can be attributed to that? Is it the economic climate? Is it something in the water? What is it?
All right, thank you very much for the question. A whole lot of things can be involved in this. When someone wakes up one day and said he or she wants to get married, the first question is, why do you want to get married? There must be a definition. There must be a focus. There must be a drive. If he or she doesn't have it, and he or she goes into a relationship anyhow, then that means he or she has not developed himself or herself in the skills necessary, because you are living with another, we are planning to live with another human being. Don't forget that even we on our own, we are complex. The body, soul, spirit interaction is very complex. And human behavior is difficult to predict, difficult to modify, not to talk of change. So when you go into a relationship without a definition, why am I here? And the other person is also coming without a definition, why am I here? Then you find that people are coming with different values. And people don't fight, it's their values that clash. Okay. When their values clash, they will definitely go into physical, emotional, or whatever fracas. So this thing is actually that people are not sure of what they want. I run a lot of, I run marriage therapy, and I ask people, that's the first question I ask people, why are you in this marriage? And they say, I'm old enough. Okay. That's not a reason. Because age is not a reason. Age is not strong enough a reason to have a good relationship. Others will say, well, I finished my youth service and now I have a job. What next? I say, why? Are you mentally prepared to get married or to enter into a relationship? Because that means your maturity will be tested. Your ability to contain your emotions when you are angry will be tested when you are mixing with another person. If you are the only one living in your room, you think you are okay. You think you are patient, you think you are a gentle person. Let another person come inside there to live with you. That is when you will know that you are not actually patient, you have not been tested.
Okay, now you talked about values of two people clashing. That's why. But isn't that expected to happen and then they find common ground?
Excellent. That is where knowledge comes in. Okay, I'm going to get married. People that come to me, I first of all give them personality test. Then I give them what they call value clarification. Check the two. Then check this person's own. Put it side by side. These are the common areas, good. These are the gray areas that you need to work on. But people don't even think that exists. They don't even know maybe that exists. So people get into problems because they expect everything, especially everything, to be at their beck and call. Now, let's assume I'm 30 years. I started dating a girl of 28, a woman of 28. That means she's coming with 28 years experience, good, bad, unthinkable, all mixed together. And I am here with 30 years experience, history of many things. So when we're sitting together, my experience will be speaking in everything I say. Our own experience, our own baggages, our own pains will be speaking in everything she's saying. So two of us, I wasn't expecting this. Meaning I expect that when I say yes, she should agree yes. When I say stand up, she should stand up 2 times. So those are the assumptions. Now, back to your question, what we should have done, what people should do is, asking the other person now, why did you agree? Yes. Why did you agree to be my girlfriend or be my boyfriend? Well, I agree because this and that and that and that. Look out for the reasons. If it is flimsy, there might be no future. Somebody will say, you're a nice guy. Somebody told me you're a nice guy. Somebody told you I'm a nice guy. What's the definition of nice? Say you like to buy a child card for people, you buy a phone for people. You can see now that the person does not have a local standing that is good enough for a long-lasting relationship. So she's bringing a value of give, I receive into it. So that might be a challenge. But the reason why people like us are around is to help guide people to say, okay, these are the things you look at for. These are the things that you should do. If this and this works together, then this thing could work. And you know, marriage does not happen where you are. It happens somewhere in the middle. Somebody needs to leave and move toward the center. The other person needs to move and move towards center. And marriage happens wherever they agree, but not where they used to be.
All right. So, is counseling a surefire method of actually mitigating things like this? Because basically what you just talked about is a basic lack of understanding. It's a basic lack of being on the same page when it comes to things like this. Just like you said, if the reasons they are together are actually flimsy, and they will wash away, and after they wash away, that's when you have people getting stabbed and all that.
Yeah.
You understand? So is counseling a surefire way of doing that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There's counseling, there's a place for counseling, there's a place for coaching.
Okay.
Or training. Now, counseling simply means I'm going to give you all the information that I believe you need for this journey. And then you'll be able to make an informed decision from the information I have given you. You might decide not to make a decision. You might decide not to make use of what I've said. You might still go back to native intelligence and use it. And now that I'm providing you information, I'm using a global standard, because now it's a global world. You know, for some of us who are in Nigeria, our children, for example, are being parented by people they have not seen. People they just see on social media. So they have not been to America, but they are being parented by someone there. So when people come around, you give them all the information what you think they should know about the formation of the human being, the human psychology, and what is expected when you are in a relationship with any kind of relationship at all. Even if both of you are marketers in this organization and you are paired together, it's a form of relationship. But when that gets to, I want to marry you, you don't want to marry me, it becomes a different one. And there are some things that people will take or tolerate if we are just partners in the office, than when we now move to become partners thinking about marriage. Even in the same office, you might even be working together in the same office, no problem. But when the issue of I love you comes in, can we get married, then there's something that the person might not be complaining about on the job. But in this one, you complain about it and you ask why. We tell you it's a different ball game. This one, we are trying to build a future. That office, we are there for how many hours? And it's not our father's business. We can go elsewhere.
So do office partners actually need counseling as well?
They should need. Because they might assume that they are okay because they work together and they achieve results on a task given to them in the office. When it comes to that, it's a different ball game.
Okay. So if we work together and we have that relationship, we should be counseled on how to manage that.
If you want to move ahead.
If we want to move ahead.
But if it is just on your office, that's a different thing. That's a workplace career counseling. It's a different thing than I'm talking about those who want to move ahead, who probably want to move ahead and consolidate their official relationship to something bigger.
All right. Because I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, yeah, for a friend. Okay, I hope your friend is listening. I hope your friend is listening.
All right. Now, let's talk about red flags. You hear a lot of people saying, you know, while you're in a relationship, before marriage, make sure you look out for red flags, because these, little things tend to, blow out of proportion when you get married. How important is it?
Red flag differs from person to person. Even though it is red, we think it's dangerous. Like we're supposed to talk about toxicity. Is where human beings are meaning-making machines. We make our own meanings. So red flags varies. Like I've counseled people who say they don't even mind their husband cheating at all, but let him just give us the money we need in this house. And somebody will say, I will never, that is my deal breaker. So when people are into a relationship, they're just cutting, they see a lot of things, they can excuse some of them depending on what their personality is, depending on what their goals are. Some people may, I've been able to, opportunity of counseling a lot of people, and I've had some very weird things. Like somebody said, this marriage, I'm planning for like 10 years.
Okay.
10 years. I'm not a marriage person, but let me just try this thing for 10 years. So his plan is 10 years. He doesn't have a plan for 11 years. But along the line, something might change. But don't forget that his initial plan, the foundation that he built, was supposed to be for 10 years.
Okay.
So, and you ask, why is he thinking like that? His own meaning is that marriage is when it's convenient, you stay. When it's not convenient, you go. That is his own meaning. So you will see a different color, even when others are calling it red. But normally people will say a guy when there's abuse in the relationship is a red flag, which is actually a red flag, generally. Or when the person is not committed, when the person is saying I'm busy, and commitment is very key. A lot of time people think when somebody keeps making excuses about his or her unavailability, you excuse because of the job. No, if you are interested, you make time.
Okay, now for the sake of, those watching, a lot of people might think this is not enough to be labeled a toxic relationship. What can you help us list some of, the red flags when it comes to toxicity
generally
in a relationship generally? Because
Yes.
some people would see it but feel, oh no, they can handle it. It's not enough.
Abusive. When someone is abusive, verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, or mentally abusive. Mentally is when the person is trying to change your cognition. He's trying to make you see white as black, and he insists on saying, this is black, this was, but that's not black. I've been trained to know that this is white. I say, no. He's trying to twist your brain to see that. When somebody is not committed by consistently unavailable, being unavailable on different platforms, even common calls, he or she does not pick. Even some common SMS, he or she does not reply. You can know that this person is not going to stay. Then one other thing I want to mention, when someone says he or she is not ready, please give that person time. Because if you force, cajole, or goad the person into marriage, the years he or she intends to stay as a single person, that same year is going to take it into that marriage, and that year is going to be unavailable. You just be chasing the person around because he was never ready. Some people want to be mentally ready before they go into something. So when someone is not ready and he's saying he's not ready, don't see it as an excuse. It's a red flag for you who wants to marry now, and he or she is saying 4 years.
Okay.
Then mommy's pet. Mommy's pet are red flags. From my personal experiences, from my professional experiences, mommy's pet, men who are mommy's pet, we always take everything back to mommy. Everything back to mommy. And they don't normally grow in that area. They can grow professionally, but when it comes to relationship, their mom has the final say. It's not wrong to have a favorite child, but it's not appropriate to now run the affairs of that person. And then these guys now allowing, I call them umbilical husband. Umbilical husband, their umbilical cord has not been broken. They're still there. They are 40, they are 45. But for women who have that, the men, marriage has a way of adjusting mommy's pet wives.
Or daddy's
pet. Or daddy's pet.
We have daddy's girls as well.
We have daddy's girl who everything they tell daddy. But,
exactly.
But from my experience working with people, some of those dads at the point try to hands off. At a point try to hands off and then allow the young man to run his family. Then that's one. Then another one is physical abuse. Let me emphasize on that. Anyone that raises hand on you during courtship or during dating is definitely going to raise hand on you, in marriage. It's only going to come in a bigger dimension. Then if you see someone who maltreats other people and he's saying, don't mind, don't worry, I love you. But they don't, he's going to repeat the same thing in a different way. So if he's maltreating somebody and you think he loves you, you're excusing it, it's going to happen one day. Then somebody who lies. The person who lie will continue to lie at different dimensions. Because I read something sometimes back. I don't know how true it is. He said for you to defend one lie, you need another 9 lies to be able to defend that one. Then they are not 10 lies now. You need more. So that a brilliant person is the only one who can sustain a lie. So and if you mind someone like that, it's going to become manipulative. You already asked where it's going to just manipulate. So someone who's manipulative, and how do you know a manipulative person? Their words are not consistent.
Okay.
But they are saying the same thing, meaning that this is where they are going, but what they say at different times is not consistent. So if you sit and rewind, what are these persons saying in the last 4 days? You find out that it's not the same. Then what they tell you is different from what they tell other people, and those people come back to tell you. And then you wonder, what is this person saying? Someone who's manipulative, someone who's abusive, someone who has anger issue, who physically abuse people, and all those people are red flags, generally red flags. Those who cheating is also a red flag, because that means the person is not focused on you and is probably not going to focus on you. And it happens with either male or female. And if you know, recently there has been talk about polygamy going around. I spoke with someone recently. I said, do you notice that people that is calling polygamy now are people of middle age, 40, 50, men who probably are feeling lonely in their marriage. People are not justifying it with, all this and that and that. And if you see that trait is not just coming to people who are like 40, 45, 50. It's probably been there, and they believe that. But now they are with you, but they've been telling you that, see, I don't think one wife would do a man. I don't think one wife would say, yeah, but my religion accepts, your religion also accepts, so how do we do that? Those things can be there at the background. Then the time will come when, if the male especially now feels lonely or feels attractive to younger people, the issue will come up again. It has always been there.
All right, so let's talk about toxic relationships, since we're actually on it right now. We find situations whereby people will be in an extremely toxic relationship that everybody sees. Person is actually probably being abused in more ways than one. Person looks completely unhappy. There's absolutely no reason for somebody to stay in that relationship, but still the person hangs in there for one reason or the other. Why is that? Because personally, that is something that I really do not understand.
It's a serious issue, actually. It's a serious issue. There's this thing called the Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay.
It's a true story. People that were kidnapped in Sweden, and after a while, they now start loving their captors. Yes. It's happening in many marriages. Because, like I said before, we are meaning-making machines.
Okay.
People just change their meaning. They begin to philosophize it. That, he's a human being, he will change, don't tell anybody, we're praying about it, we're counseling him. Let me add one thing to red flag. Someone who does not have anybody who can control him, who can tell him to come, sit down. Someone that has no accountability, personality. That's a very serious red flag. Okay, so come back to toxic relationship. So when people are in pain and they think it is their destiny, you can't help them. But one key reason is, especially for women, is economic power.
Okay.
When they don't have the economic power, I have a whole lot of people who said they are going to get out of the relationship, they're going to get out. And then when you now list the cost of moving out of this marriage, moving out of this pain, they say they would rather sit than go. Okay. Culture has told us that sit with your children, is your children. It's not all about it. Those children will go. Those children are actually strangers. We are just caretakers. So people should focus on themselves first. So culture and religion has not been able to help us very well in this. The handshake of culture and religion is one of the major challenges we have in this area we're talking about. Because culture will tell you, if your grandmother says, even me, I suffered. I stayed. I raised your parents. So you don't want to stay. You don't want to suffer. You don't want to suffer. You think everything is a bed of roses. Those are words that keep people inside their pain. Okay. Then in the religious house, they said, to persevere, stay there. Nothing will happen. God will meet you there. Why can't God meet me when I step out? Then meet that man too. And then we'll not come back. So our religious leaders need to face the realities of today. That's one. Then two, economic empowerment that I mentioned before, people need to stop stigmatizing people that are stepping out of their marriages. Because when you say single mothers are stigmatized, no, it's because she wants to be a modern woman. That's why she cannot stay under a roof of a man. And this thing they say that you need a roof over your head. Your husband is a roof over your head. What of those who did not marry? Don't they have a roof?
Okay. Now, how important is it to ask questions, in relationships? Because you have a lot of people saying that, you asking too many questions, that's asking your partner too many questions, makes you look desperate as a woman.
I've heard that plenty of time, but the question is, if you don't ask a question, you don't deserve an answer. An assumption is the basest level of understanding, of knowledge. So people are encouraged to ask questions. This is what I do to people. If people are just dating and they come around, I tell them to have a 6-month plan or a 1-year plan. Meaning that in the first 3 months, let's know each other. Let me ask as many questions as comes to my head before I even introduce you to my friends or to my family. So those first 3 months, I encourage them to ask questions. What are the questions? Where are you coming from? Where are you now? Who are your friends? Because there's some information that you not get from people directly, but you can get from their friends. Well, let me give an example. There was a particular guy who acted drama. It was actually a drama in the church, and it was the husband in the drama and had a girl. I mean, it's a drama, married drama. So it was all over the social media. So his friends actually thought he's married. He now said, no, not drama. But the person that he now met to start dating didn't know anything about him, didn't know about the drama, and somebody told him that person is married. He said, no, now send the picture. Now say, you are married? He said, I'm not married. So it's drama. Okay, who will confirm that? He needs somebody. Because no matter what that guy says, see picture. So his friends need to ask questions from his friends, need to ask questions from his family, need to ask questions from him. So questions are legitimate. It might look stupid, but they're legitimate. But now let me now put a proviso on that question. There's some question that when you want to answer them, you need to move between wisdom and discretion. If I give the person this answer, can she or he accommodate? Can she accommodate the answer now, or I allow this relationship to build a bit before telling this person what really happened? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. There's some questions I can ask about your past, and then I say, okay, we just broke up because of this and that and that and that. So I want to know why you broke up. Now, if that breakup is due to your fault, and you are working on getting better, if you are not better yet, if you still have those traits that you're working on right there, and you tell the person this was what happened, say, okay, I can see that in you. So what is the assurance that this thing will not happen to us? But if you say, okay, I'm working on what happened, but I'm not going to tell you the details. It now depends on the woman, for example, or the guy, to decide to say, I want to see you grow first before I commit myself, or I want to commit myself and we grow together.
Okay. All right. Now, with the current situation, just like we talked about earlier, I mean, like we have rising cases of these things going on right now. Almost everybody knows somebody that is actually stuck in a particular toxic relationship. You know it is bad for that person, and you care for that person, and you want that person to get out, but for some reason they can't actually see it. What can we do?
Good. I discovered recently that Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, they have a very strong structure that addresses this. I just got to know less than maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I've been speaking with the person in charge. And I was surprised that they have done so much, but the public, like me, don't know. A lot of time I send people to go to the family something at the IGA, but those people there need training. You know, cultural people cannot help us in this thing. You need to break beyond culture. You need to have a global mindset. Or you go to the police, depending on where you have gone. If you person say, go back to your husband. What are you talking about? How can your husband beat you? Go and cover your husband. You want to expose your husband. That is not an answer. But they have a structure. Then some other NGOs have structure that can help people, but you see, it's limited. Sometimes, like me, I'm not a legal person. I'm not a government staff. I can only give counseling, therapy, or advice. I can only say, okay, go to this agency that can enforce and say, okay, this man, your case has been reported, ensure that you do not do this any longer. It's only government that can do that. The VAP Act is working in Lagos. I'm not sure of Abuja. You understand? Different states have different enforcement system on it. But now the big thing is this. Apologies to women. Women are actually a major issue in this thing. I have cases that I've preferred them.
In what? In toxic relationships?
In remaining there.
Okay.
They don't want to go. Even when there are opportunities, people are saying, okay, come, we'll help you. They say, hey, we have finished it. We have had some very sad cases that are just coming up now that I don't want to talk about.
When you say, you actually just talked about women saying, we have finished it. Is it possible to fix a toxic relationship?
If both of them can agree, it can be fixed, especially the aggressor. The aggressor has a sense of, has a mentality of me, and me. That's a basic thing about toxic relationship. Someone is believing that anything I do. If that person can submit himself, most of the time, or herself, to therapy, it can be fixed. But most of the time, the aggressors are not always available. They are not interested. And unfortunately, when these chips are down, people will say, it's a man, and you need to give him respect. What is respect? Respect are being wrongly labeled in relationship. So a lot of times, the women themselves, they are afraid of what people will do, what people will say, what their family will say. And I keep telling them, most of the time, families are not always sincere. Family want to cover their name. What is in a name? When somebody is dying, do you prefer this person to die? I also happen to be a pastor. And one day I posted, and people were making us say, I would rather officiate a divorce than to officiate a funeral of someone that can be saved. And I still stand by that until tomorrow. I would rather go and officiate a divorce, break you up.
Okay, I was actually going to ask you what your opinion as a relationship expert is on the rate of divorces, separations, and also the rate of toxic relationships, because there's no day you open the newspaper or read the news that you don't hear a story of a man killing his wife, the wife killing, and all that. The latest one, I think, was a man beating his child.
Yes, and they had to amputate
and locking
a 2-month-old baby.
Yes, exactly, and they had to amputate the baby's hand.
Where do we start from? Now, like I said, why do people go into a relationship? Number one. Then what have they agreed to tolerate? What to tolerate, you can't change. You keep tolerating at the greatest dimension. When you see a small thing, like you're asking me for a red flag, when you see this red flag, did you pause to think about it, or you just allow your heart to go and your brain is coming behind? The heart is emotional. It will excuse everything. But your brain will be rational, be asking you questions. So most of the time, people go to a relationship, they don't go with their brain, they go with their heart only. So when those things happen, they don't seek help immediately. They keep thinking that this person will change. People don't change like that. It takes time. Even if somebody has submitted himself or herself to therapy, it can take like 10, 15, 20 weeks before you even begin to see some changes. Because this is somebody who's maybe 40 years old who has been behaving like that for 40 years. So it's because people go into relationship, they don't ask questions. That thing you ask, they don't ask questions. And when you're asking too much questions, they say you are desperate. That's a blackmail. And so when you now keep quiet, you now begin to see things that you didn't expect to see. Now they now say that you're already in it now, and don't worry. And they sing different, like I say, culture and religion. They say you are married today, tomorrow no more. You're married, you're married forever.
About your biological clock. Oh, I've been.
Yes, your time is going. Your time is going. Is it better for time to keep going and I'm in peace, and I'm trying to get a right person suited for my specification? Or I jump into a ship that is already rocking, and then we rock for the remaining 20, 30 years. It's a question that people need to answer themselves. The society needs to stop stigmatizing people who are making personal decisions. The reason why people don't now, I have clients that are say, okay, if you don't want to divorce, can we start initiating a separation? 3 months, 6 months, and within that time there must be intervention. You can't just say, okay, we are separated, now come back. Nothing happens. Time does not heal wounds unless there's an intervention. So what are the plans? They say, we don't even know. By the time they come back, they are coming with different stories. So people have not been able to make up their mind because they are being stigmatized by culture, by religion, by society. Until we begin to change as a people. So, okay, this is what this person is going through. What can we do to help this person? There must be a network of succor for people who are in pain. You understand? There needs to be. If not, people will just stay there and we will not be happy that people are dying. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases that pass through me and I'm not happy.
All right, so finally, before we go, you've talked about a lot of things that people actually need to do when going into a relationship and all that. But I just want you to actually to enumerate it now. What are the things that people need to do before they go into a relationship? Okay.
The very first thing is you. Who are you? What's your identity? Self-identity. You must be able, after you are born, you live being an umbilical man, then at a point you identify who you are, then you go into stage of accountability, responsibility. That's when you say you want to get married. That's self-identity. Who are you? It's not about name now. My name is Jeff. That's not my identity. What do I stand for? What's my goal? What's my vision? So if I want to get married to somebody, I ask the person, what are your goals and your vision for life? I look at them side by side. If his goals will make my own goal to die, I'm going to be frustrated at a point in my life because my goal is not achieved. So people should not be desperate. Let's find out, who are you? Who do you stand? What do you actually want? What do you want? Are you able to sustain what you want and for how long? So when you now finally get married, there's a focus, and the focus should be at least close to each other. Then that, for example, you want to marry somebody, and the person say he's going to live his life in Australia, he wants to japa, and you have a business in Nigeria, you want to say, how does that work? And I say, don't worry, I'll be coming every year. Yes. When the guy goes, he does not come back for 3 years. You already know that this vision doesn't go. Then what are your personality? If you say, we are always angry in our family, that's not a virtue. You need to work. So people need to work on their weaknesses. I do this normal SWOT analysis. I have a modified one that I do for people to help them find where they belong. And so when you're going to marry somebody, you also check the person and say, okay, where do we belong? So people must know who they are, then identify who fits into their plan and who they are, and then they can build together. And they must ask questions, they must talk. If you do not ask questions, you don't deserve an answer. So anything given to you,
you take it like that.
Because you didn't ask.
All right, well, thank you so much for this enlightening session. It was quite enlightening. Even though, when it comes to relationships, it's quite vast.
It's too big. We can't finish talking about it.
Just focus on this for now. And then hopefully we'll have you some other time to talk about, a different dimension on relationships. All right, so that was Mr. Jeff Oluwagbemiga. He's a multidimensional coach with a passion for humanity and capacity development. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And with this, we've come to the end of Daybreak Extra. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again next week, Saturday, same time, same station. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman.
All right, that's it for Daybreak Extra for this week. Just like she said, we'll do it all again next week. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. We'll leave you with my daily hustle.